Hi everyone, welcome to the preview episode of my new podcast, Restitch America. My name is Ohene-Opare, and I'm excited to be here with you today. This project has been a long time coming, and I'm glad it is finally here. In this preview episode, I want to take the opportunity to share my inspiration for this podcast and the journey that led me here. As I've said before, this is a work in progress, so please be patient with me as I figure things out and make adjustments along the way. One thing I like to tell people I meet for the first time is that I reserve the right to be smarter tomorrow than I was today. So my promise to you is that I will learn every day and become better every day, so I can not only live up to your expectations, but leave a positive influence in your life with every interaction you have with me and with this show. Now, let's brace ourselves as we take this ride together on our journey to Restitch America. Since coming to America in 2003, I've mostly been a silent observer of the news, culture, and politics of this country. My main reason at the time was that I did not want to jeopardize my status as a guest in this country. Over time, I became more and more vocal, but only among close friends and acquaintances. I hoped and prayed for many years that the day would come when I would finally have the opportunity to become an American, because I knew then that I could use my voice to fight for the principles and values that made me fall in love with this country long before I ever set foot here. I knew as a citizen I could not only speak, but I could do so and lead the charge to restore America boldly and nobly and without fear. Over my 2 decades in America, I've seen so much change in almost every facet of our society. Unfortunately, not all the changes have been positive. I remember when during the Obama presidency, he promised to fundamentally transform America. And love him or hate him, I believe in many respects he succeeded in that quest. America today is fundamentally different from the country I landed in 20 years ago. And I fear that if we don't fight to restore and preserve the principles and values that brought people like me here, we won't have anything to pass down to our children and grandchildren except apathy, cowardice, and eventually tyranny. I believe our country is at a crossroads. And at this crossroads, we're faced with 2 clear and diametrically opposed paths. One path will be hard and sometimes treacherous, but will eventually lead to the restoration of our rights and the defense of our families, our faith, and our freedoms. The other path is filled with promises of a better world, paved with the platitudes of equity and social justice. The ticket, however, requires us to give up a little freedom here and a little autonomy there, in a hope that we will eventually arrive at some version of utopia that serves the collective and not the individual. Our fellow Americans are making their choices right now, and unfortunately, many, especially our youth, are embracing illusions that will inevitably lead to a fall our country may not recover from. My inspiration for creating this podcast is to add my voice to help restore the social fabric that is now torn and in tatters in America. My goal is to help my fellow citizens see that we have much more in common than divides us. My hope is to inspire others to see our country in a positive light again and to wake up in the morning and be proud to be American. My desire is to bridge the ever-widening gap between the warring factions of the left and the right, and to call out and tamp out the vitriol and the divisiveness of charlatans in the media and also in our political systems. I want to infuse positivity back into the public square, and I want to do it with quiet confidence and a smile on my face. I am not naive to the difficulty of this journey, but I know with your help, we can make a tangible difference for our families, our loved ones, and our country. I named the show Restitch America because when I think of our country right now, I see in my mind the American flag with a tear down the middle. The only way to mend our flag is to restitch it together with the threads of patriotism, the bonds of friendship, intertwined with optimism and willful positivity. I want to restitch America because I believe we have a solemn and divine responsibility to be the shining city on the hill once again, to shine as a beacon to all those who are currently fighting for the very rights we take for granted every day. I want to restitch America because I want to pass down to my children and grandchildren the same hope that fuels my optimism and drives my willingness to stand up for truth, justice, and the American way. Ultimately, at the end of every episode, I want to leave you with tangible actions you can take in your own life and in your community that will move the needle as we all join together to Restitch America. Thank you so much for being part of my American dream, and I hope to see you again on launch day, November 9th, 2022.